There are many people around the world, including popular scientist Neil deGrasse Tyson, who believe that we are living within a computer simulation. Simulation theory is a hypothesis that our perceived reality is just a computer simulation made by some higher being. Neil deGrasse Tyson himself says the chances of us being in a simulation is greater than 50-50, which to me is absolutely terrifying. Today, we are looking at a channel called Most Amazing Top 10, and this is mysterious locations that prove we are living in a simulation. Now, I don't know if it necessarily proves that we're living in a simulation. However, it did get my brain working a bit. If you do like the video, please do me a favor and like the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
A massive unexplored freshwater lake hidden under layers of Antarctic ice, an island that looks like an alien world, and an area of North Carolina where compasses malfunction and plants can't grow, known as the Devil's Stomping Ground. These are mysterious locations that might just prove we're living in a simulation. Lake Vostok is a weird one. It's this massive freshwater lake that's been trapped beneath Antarctica's ice for millions of years. Scientists first found it in the 70s, but it's believed to have been sealed off by 3 kilometers or about 2 miles of ice for around 15 million years.
Have you guys got any facts about Antarctica that you think are interesting? Because this is one place that I've not really looked into a lot. I've watched videos like the odd one, but I keep hearing stuff that I've never heard of before. It seems like a lot of people seem to know stuff. So if you guys have any facts, please let me know. I do have one interesting one though. Mainstream science say that we discovered Antarctica in the 1820s. However, there is a map from 1531 called the Orontius Phineas map. I'll put it on screen now. This map shows Antarctica without ice like 300 years before it was meant to have been discovered. Make that make sense. Because, I mean, they didn't even have a name for it. I think they called it like the Southern Land or something. So, make it make sense.
At one point, Lake Vostok was pretty much a regular lake on the surface of Antarctica, and it would rise and fall with the tides, just like any other body of water. But now, it's deep beneath the ice with a crazy amount of pressure, about 5,150 pounds per square inch, just sitting there in total darkness. Even though it's buried under all that ice, scientists are convinced that there's life down there. They think...
Quick one. Going off what I said a minute ago about the map, this map from the 1530s was apparently based on older source maps that we no longer have in our possession because, I mean, they were just too old. They didn't survive. So this is older maps that have been put together throughout God knows how many years, placed all into one map.
Think organisms have been evolving in complete isolation, untouched by the outside world for all of this time. How they're still thriving in that dark, high-pressure environment is a mystery, and while it'd be wild to see what the lake would have looked like in the past, I'm also dying to know what kind of weird life forms could be living down there right now. Socotra Island is one of the strangest places on Earth. It's found off the coast of Yemen, and it doesn't look like any place on the planet. The island is very remote, and because of that, it's home to some very strange stuff. About a third of its plant life can't be found anywhere else in the world. One of the most bizarre plants is the dragon's blood tree. It's got these branches that look upside down, kind of like a tree, but growing with its roots sticking out of the ground and at the top. These trees have been used for medicinal purposes, dyeing fabric, making incense, and staining wood. And then there's the island's bottle tree, which has a thick trunk that stores water to survive the harsh conditions. You'll also find huge limestone caves here filled with bats, and you'll also find messages carved into the walls by sailors from 1 to 6 CE. The people who live here are also pretty unique, with genetic traits that can't be found anywhere else on the planet. In North Carolina, there is a spot known as the Devil's Stomping Ground. It's this barren 40-foot wide circle in the middle of the woods, and a lot of very weird stuff is said to go on here. The legend goes that the devil himself stomps around in this circle every night before heading off to do his evil deeds. The ground inside the circle is weirdly barren. There's no plant.
Remind me to never ever go here.
no plants will grow there, and anything left inside the circle during the day will mysteriously...
I love this. You get this gate that's behind me. It says no trespassing. But then it's just this open. It's like anyone from the UK will understand. When you watch BBC iPlayer, like on a laptop or something, it comes up and it's like, do you have a TV license? And all you have to do is click yes. And it's like, all right, that's that. That is that gate. No trespassing unless you walk round. Like, what?
be thrown out by the next morning. People have tried to spend the night in the circle as well, but many say it feels off. Scientists aren't sure what's going on, but there's been some speculation about the soil's copper or salt content causing the plants to die, but testing hasn't really given any clear answers here. What's also incredibly strange is that compasses seem to go haywire when you're standing in the circle. There's a noticeable magnetic interference. If you look at maps from the 1700s, you'll see an island called Bermeja off the coast of Mexico. It was shown as a key piece of land for Mexico's territorial claims, especially when it came to oil drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. Well, look at a map today, and you won't be able to find the place. The island just doesn't seem to exist anymore. In 2009, a study by the National Autonomous University of Mexico tried to find it using everything from aerial reconnaissance to underwater sensors, but they couldn't locate the island anywhere.
Wait, hold on. So what? The island existed back in the, well, like 300 years ago, but now all of a sudden it doesn't.
Supposed to be about 55 nautical miles outside Mexico's territorial waters, which would have given them a big chunk of extra oil-rich land, but it wasn't there. Your first thought is that the island was probably just swallowed up by the sea, but others believe the island's disappearance might have been something more intentional, like maybe it was bombed by the US to limit Mexico's claims on the Gulf. There are all kinds of conspiracy theories surrounding it, but till this day,
you mean the Gulf of America?
Don't know for sure. Minnesota is home to one of the most bizarre waterfalls in the United States, Devil's Kettle Falls. The Brule River splits into two channels, one of which continues on as a regular waterfall, but the other one, well, the second stream disappears.
I've seen this, and no one knows where the water goes. There is like no end.
Pothole known as the Devil's Kettle, and no one knows where the water goes. It just vanishes without a trace. Some say it's bottomless, and that the water drops all the way down into hell. And while it's a fun theory, scientists, of course, don't think that. They think the water might actually flow underground, rejoining the Brule River a little further downstream, but it's impossible to see with the naked eye.
I'd love to know.
No one's been able to prove where that water actually goes, and after decades of research, the Devil's Kettle is still just a weird little oddity we don't fully understand, which obviously means our entire reality may be just a simulation, of course. Urkhammer is the small town in Iowa, which supposedly vanished into thin air.
I need to stop letting my brain wander.
The weirdness started when a guy posted about it online in 2015, saying that his mom got an email with a history of the town. Turns out it was a normal little town back in the day, but by the time aerial photos were taken in 1928, there was nothing but empty fields where Urkhammer used to be. Now, at first it seemed like a weird coincidence, but things only got stranger. There's a story about a tourist who drove through, got his gas topped off at the local station, then found his tank empty just a couple miles later. He was very confused, but figured there was probably something wrong with his car. Anyway, he'd have to turn around and walk back to the town for help. But no matter how far he walked back, the town never got any closer. Eventually, the man was picked up by another driver along the road, but was so disturbed by what had happened that he eventually ended up in a sanitarium. Another strange thing happened when two men from Illinois tried to buy supplies in the town. They couldn't walk up the steps of the general store because their feet just kept passing through them, like the steps weren't even there. Others tried and the same thing happened. Not long after,
I love this
police
stuff.
arrived to investigate, only to find...
Mate, this is right up our street, isn't it? The whole paranormal, like, ooh.
Their hands passed through the doors. It was like the town was just this one big mirage. And eventually, there was no sign of the town at all.
Oh, my brain has just thought of another theory. You know, I said in like a last video, or maybe the video before, about how ghosts could just be where time, we think it's linear, but it actually isn't. Where time, within theory, the past, present, and future could be existing all at the same time. Could it be that this is actually a simulation? And when we think we see ghosts, what we're actually seeing is the sort of the leftover remnants of pre-existing simulation. Yeah, I've done that thing again where I let my brain just do its thing. Silly boy.
Gurdon Light in Arkansas has been a local mystery for decades. It's one of those things you can't really explain no matter how hard you try. It's a glowing light, usually white, blue, or sometimes orange, that floats near the railroad tracks in Gurdon. Unlike other mysterious lights, this one's been seen by so many people that's become a part of the town's history. The light shows up pretty regularly as well, and some folks have even seen it so often that it's just become another odd feature.
Is this not what we're seeing at the moment? Like everywhere on the planet? Like where these orbs or balls of light are appearing and then turning into, like, I watched Casper Side's video last night. All these balls of light that are then turning into, I don't know, like drones or planes. And could this just be that? I don't know. This is really weird, but everyone's seen it and no one knows what it is.
There are a couple theories behind it. Some say it's the ghost of a railroad worker who was decapitated by a train, and his lantern's still floating around as he looks for his head. Another version of the tale goes that a railroad foreman was killed by one of his workers, and again his spirit still lurks around the tracks with his lantern, creating the spooky light. Leaving aside ghosts though, there's a theory that the light could be caused by underground quartz crystals, creating some sort of electrical reaction. But whatever the cause, the Gurdon Light makes for one of the strangest mysteries in the state, along with how Arkansas is spelled. Still don't get that. The Nevada Triangle, similar to the Bermuda Triangle, is a stretch of land that just seems to suck planes out of the sky. It's found close to Area 51, and over 2,000 planes have gone missing.
Talking of Area 51, I'm going to put an image on screen right now. This is Gordon Ramsay, obviously, as you can see. There's a person who you might have heard of who plays a game called GeoGuessr. His name is Rainbolt, and he has been known to randomly find where people are just based on their background of their picture. Now, with this picture, Rainbolt has determined and proven that Gordon Ramsay was on a airstrip within or at least dangerously close to Area 51. I believe he actually was at Area 51, from what I've read. Now, what the F is Gordon Ramsay doing at Area 51? You can check it yourself. It's on his Instagram. It's still there as well. And look at the comments. Mate, the comments, everyone is like, why are you at Area 51? And not a single comment has been answered. I don't know, man. Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction.
In the region, a lot of them without a trace. One of the most famous disappearances is that of billionaire pilot Steve Fawcett in 2007. He was a super experienced pilot, but his plane vanished without a word, and it took a whole year to find the wreckage. Another story involves a military pilot who crashed in 1957, survived for nearly 2 months, and then appeared out of nowhere in a national park. Theories range from natural stuff like mountain waves messing with the planes to wilder ideas like aliens. The 2011 tsunami in Japan was one of the most devastating natural disasters ever, leaving nearly 16,000 people dead.
Right. There is something called megalophobia. Now, I don't know if I have that, because that in itself is something that I could not do. Like where those people are stood, absolutely not. I drove past one of those humongous cruise ships, those massive ferries. I don't even know like the names of them. But I drove past one and I legit had to like make myself look away because my legs had gone to jelly and I couldn't drive properly. That, oh my God, is horrific. Oh,
2,500 missing.
I don't like that whatsoever.
Was stranger.
And another reason why I couldn't go on a cruise.
Followed the disaster, there have been reports of ghost sightings. People would see
there's a whole ass boat on a building,
asking for directions or looking for
it's a weird roof,
homes. Isn't it? Some taxi drivers would also report picking up ghost passengers, people who seemed completely normal at first, but would then vanish out of the back seat before ever arriving at their destination. There are also stories of people being possessed by these lost souls, leading Buddhist monks stepping up to perform hundreds of exorcisms. Now, the Bermuda Triangle. It is the OG of mysterious patches of the planet. It's that stretch of ocean between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico where planes and ships seem to disappear without a trace. There are all kinds of stories, some of ships vanishing with no sign, others of pilots flying into it and just losing contact. Theories for the disappearances range from the scientific, like massive underwater gas bubbles or magnetic anomalies messing with instruments, pure coincidence, to the more outlandish, like alien abductions, time warps, or in this case, glitches in the matrix that is our reality. One of the most famous cases is the disappearance of Flight 19, a group of 5 US Navy bombers that went missing in 1945 during a training mission. A rescue plane sent after them also disappeared. Despite all the theories and investigations,
Guys, I need your Bermuda Triangle stories if you have any. Send them to me. Comment down below. Whatever you want to do, send them on Instagram. You'll find my details in the description. Just send them. I love stories about the Bermuda Triangle because it's absolutely terrifying. But at the same time, it's just a body of water. Or water.
no one has been able to come up with a solid answer for why these disappearances happen, and that's why the Bermuda Triangle has to be at the top of this list. With all that said, I have been your host, James, and I will catch you, yes, you specifically, in the next video.
Yes, you will. What a channel, man. Mate, I know I say it a lot, and I will continue to say it, but this is probably top 10 of my favourite channels on YouTube. And pardon the pun, most amazing top 10, and it's in the top 10. Guys, put your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you thought about any of those. And if you like the video, please do me a favour, like the video, subscribe, tell a friend, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.